Morning to you. Look who I have in the studio, the Managing Director of Montgomery Asia, Mr. Christopher McCuin. And he's here to talk about the Speciality Food and Drinks Asia, or as it's known, SFDA. Come and hear all about it, current food trends, and what to get excited about this amazing event. Join us on air, okay?
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Hello, everyone.
Ooh, Jamiroquai with virtual insanity here on the Brightside. Good morning to you. And yes, I'm not alone in the studio for this hour. I got a great guest, Mr. Christopher McCuin, the Managing Director of Montgomery Asia. And you are here to talk about something you are truly passionate about, the Speciality Food and Drinks Asia, or as it's known as the SFDA. I'm getting excited. I mean, Singapore is a foodie nation.
It is.
And tell us, how did you even get into all of this to do with food?
Well, I'm a true foodie at heart. I love it, food and drink. And we run a big speciality show in London. I've been doing shows for 20 years.
20 years?
Yeah, just over 20 years. Yeah.
How did it start for you? 20 years? You must have started young.
Back in the day, yeah.
In your teens, right?
No, you're being particularly kind. No, I was at university and in just outside Oxford Brookes, and I was running club nights. And I had a fairly chunky student debt, so it was time to try and pay it off. And I thought, why not start a company to start a graduate recruitment fair? So that's what I did. Went to the bank, started a company, went to the dean, said, can I hire your lecture theatre? He said, yeah, go for it. And got 7,000 students, paid off my student debt, took my girlfriend, who's now my lovely lady wife, to Disney World. That was it. Yeah,
what
perfect.
A great story.
And then I thought, I loved events. Let's go.
So from there, you never looked back. And when did you begin? So you must have conceptualized, Specialty Food and Drinks Asia, the FFDA. How did that come about?
So we've run, as a company, Montgomery, who's based out of London, since we're the oldest in the world, actually. We started in 1895.
Wow.
Running exhibitions in 1895 in just outside London. Mm-hmm. And we just we run food and drink and very, very high-end art events and construction and mining. And we just thought food's just it brings everyone together. And in the UK, it was the number one tax revenue generator manufacturing industry. So we were like, okay. And then I got the chance, luckily, to come to your, what I can only say, wonderful
part
nation.
of the world.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. And that was 20 years ago. And I was doing things in Singapore, Hong Kong, China. I launched some things in Vietnam. And I don't know, just meeting the local people and tasting the local flavours and seeing the opportunity of bringing new flavours to somewhere so established in the food and drink industry already. Wow, it's just a huge
that
opportunity.
Must be exciting. My goodness. So we can experience quite a bit over at the Specialty Food and Drinks Asia. I've got so much to ask you when it comes to food trends, what we can look forward to. I know there are competitions even taking place at the SFDA. We're going to jump onto Facebook Live. Everybody join us there, facebook.com/1FM913, and hear all about it. Very good morning, everybody. Welcome back. This is our Facebook Live. We're with Mr. Christopher McCuin. I'll just call you Christopher.
Sure,
is that okay?
Sure. Chris is fine.
Christopher is good. Managing Director of Montgomery Asia. And I just found out Montgomery has been around since the 18th century. My goodness. You haven't been around since the 18th century, just to clarify in case anyone was wondering. You're here to talk about the SFDA, the Specialty Food and Drinks Asia.
Sure.
This is not the first event for the SFDA, or is it?
No. We launched it in Singapore in 2017. So we've been running it for 23 years in the UK.
Wow.
And we bought it here in 2017. So I moved my family out here to bring new flavors. We bring things from Japan, from China, from Thailand, from Malaysia, from Vietnam. And if you're looking for new things for your retail, your food service, hospitality, distribution business here in Singapore, it's just the one place to find new product. Everyone wants new product.
Of course.
Of course you want your standard things that you put in the cupboard and that you cook with every day. But you want the new stuff. You want those new flavors to try with your family and friends.
So this is a great place, not just for, I guess, the business owners, right, of F&B businesses, but also how about just the average person who's really into food? Would this be a great event for them to jump in and enjoy?
I think if you're in the so this event. So you've got Speciality Food and Drink Asia.
Sure.
You've got the Speciality Coffee side. You've got the food to go, which is food delivery and takeaway. And I think this is very much for the trade to get together. So it's to bring the industry together. We get a huge amount of retailers, huge amount of coffee lovers as well. The amount of things we do with the Singapore Coffee Association is just fab. If you're into it, it's amazing. We have a
Singapore Coffee Association.
Yeah,
I love coffee.
Do.
Why do I not know this? Okay, Joel, my producer, is super into coffee. He's even taken part in amateur barista competitions.
There.
Yeah, he was there as well. I didn't know we have a Singapore Coffee Association. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
So tell us this, what are some food trends you are noticing, especially in this year? It's quite an interesting year, finally everywhere has opened up.
Yeah.
With travel being in place, real proper post-COVID. What are these food trends that you're noticing right now?
So I think, yes, the travel, we finally got coming back. That revenge travel's going, but also the revenge flavors. People want new things. And we're getting
revenge flavors. I love
flavors.
That phrase. What is this about?
Well, I think people just want to go back to the time, which is not that long ago, where they could have new things all the time. And new things doesn't mean getting on a plane or getting on a boat. You can have fantastic, phenomenal international food and local cuisine right here in Singapore. The best place I've ever been, actually.
Really?
Food and drink. Yeah, it's amazing. I truly believe Singapore is the center of it.
Please know that none of us bribed him to say that. Okay.
No, but we're seeing some huge trends in especially things like free from, so sugar-free, or people that have got certain lactose intolerance,
a gluten-free,
whatever it might be. But a lot of things in low and no, so alcohol-free. I think everyone in the old... Back in the day, people used to think having alcohol-free was about removing yourself from, the big situation with alcohol.
Sure.
But it's actually not. It's just a healthy lifestyle. It's not about, huge zero. It might just be reducing. It's not necessarily about your driving. You just want to reduce it. And now it's just fantastic flavors of new products in what they call low and no. Yeah, low alcohol, no alcohol.
I like this idea of low and no alcohol offerings. These can be found at the SFDA. And you're saying that, I think people are really coming around to this idea that you can have good flavor, and enjoy the alcohol, but without, the bad effects of it. Is that what it's all about, this low and no thing? I'm going to say yes to it. I'm going to say yes to it.
Absolutely. And I think before, soft drinks, was very much, you just had certain brands that we all know and love.
Yes.
They were soft drinks. But now that's not the case. You can have these beautiful cocktails, mocktails, and loads of these fantastic bars. I mean, some of your cocktail bars in Singapore are world class, truly world class. Top 50 in the world.
We have some really amazing bars
really
here.
True, amazing. And I think you now see cocktail bars having menus that are alcohol one side, flip them over, exactly the same menu the other side, just no alcohol. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
What a great offering. So this is also a trend that you're noticing in F&B establishment, particularly with the bars.
Yeah, very
like
much
that
so.
idea.
And then just healthy food. People are living a slightly different lifestyle where they still want to have great food. They just want to be healthy at the same time.
You know what's really interesting? I'll tell you all about it when we jump back on air. Today happens to be Food is a Medicine Day, all about nutritious and healthy food. It's interesting that you brought that up. I'm going to ask you in a few seconds, what's your type of healthy food? Have a think about it, Christopher. Let's jump back on air, everybody. Join us there. Woo! It's actually one of the songs on my karaoke list. Jets, Are You Going to Be My Girl? You need that kind of song where you can scream it out. I might ask you what's your karaoke song choice, but right now I want to ask you Christopher. He is the Managing Director of Montgomery Asia, here to talk about the SFDA, the Speciality Food and Drinks Asia event. And today happens to be Food is Medicine Day. And it's interesting that you mentioned that one of the key food trends you're noticing is that people are wanting more healthy food, but they still want to enjoy that food. Healthy food doesn't have to be a compromise on taste, but you get that benefit of it being nutritious and good for your body. So what's your type of healthy food? Is it something that we can find at the SFDA?
I think, if you ask me, I love absolutely everything. So I've got three kiddies, and trying to find food that we all love is quite a challenge sometimes.
I'm going to high five you.
Wow, it can be a challenge, but we really find just that those healthier snacks, which we get a lot of the biscuits, the cakes, the bakery products.
Yes.
That used to be, you might leave feeling quite heavy.
That is true.
But that's not necessarily the case. You could go have just as good a time, have a beautiful coffee, have a beautiful specialty tea.
Okay.
Or have a healthy, low sugar drink. And also now, what's so wonderful is in the old days, that plastic that it might have been delivered in, that was going in the bin. And now some of these companies are producing wonderful food in recyclable packaging. So it's better for the earth, it's better for your body.
Right.
Things are just getting better.
Oh my God, that is amazing. So we can actually get a glimpse of all these?
Yeah, sure.
All the current food trends that you're talking about, we will see it for ourselves at the SFDA.
Yes.
Now, I also know that another very exciting part of it, and what a lot of people look forward to, are the competitions that happen at the SFDA. How exciting. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, definitely. We got a lot of competitions for people to see. We've got butchery, the ASEAN Butchery Contest, which is with the Meat Traders Association. So some of your meat traders in Singapore and butchers are some of the best in Asia, actually.
Oh my goodness.
And huge importation of meat. And they'll just show people how to pair, other chefs, how to pair the actual carcass and then we've got people cooking with the offcuts and secondary meats that some people might throw away, and that's a waste. Let's not do that.
Sure.
Let's make wonderful product, no wastage, and it's just as good a food. It's just sometimes those things people haven't heard of as much. Then we've got the Singapore National Coffee Championship with the Singapore Coffee Association and actually the ASEAN Coffee Federation. So it's all of ASEAN flying in to look, to judge, and these wonderful baristas creating art that I could never do. It's amazing to see it.
You know, I tried to do the latte art. I was trying to do a fish, but it just looked like someone stepped into mud. Yeah, and they make it look so easy, right? But you mentioned that you've got competitors coming in from around the region. I can see how this year, because of all the lifts with the traveling, due to COVID, it's going to be even more exciting. It's really a display of regional talent. Wow.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant. And I think the art they show and the different type they do quite a lot of cupping, which is where you try the different types of beans from around the world. They roast them and then they try them. Yeah, it's quite something to watch. But the amount of people that will just come and watch, because your cafe scene here in Singapore, it's not just burgeoning, it's excelling. It's a fantastic, and yes, of course, we all know the big high street brands, but you've got some fantastic specialty, individual, independent coffee places
who roast their own beans. And it's amazing.
Absolutely, and they spend a huge amount of time and love going into that. We'll have a lot of the coffee side, a lot of the butchery side, and we have Fine Food Live as well, which is which you can come along and watch. We've got MasterChef contestants coming along. We've got some of the best chefs just coming along to talk about what you can deliver in your restaurant, in your food service outlet. It might not cost you a fortune, but it deliver great taste to your customers.
Can you give us the details of the SFDA? Just very quickly before we jump back on Facebook Live to talk more about it.
Come along, Speciality Food and Drink Asia. It's happening on the 26th to the 28th of September at Marina Bay Sands. We all know where that is. Come along and join us.
Okay, is there a website that we can head to as well?
Yeah. We'll just look up Speciality Food and Drink Asia, but SFDA Asia. SFDA Asia.
We're going to jump back on air, on Facebook Live, beg your pardon on that, to find out more about the SFDA. I am super intrigued. I'm getting super excited. I want to go. Can I go?
Yeah, my mouth is watering.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Brightside on our Facebook Live. Remember, if you chime on in, do you have questions for Christopher or perhaps any comments? Maybe you've been to the SFDA before. Let us know about it. It could win you a $110 3-hour art jamming workshop, all thanks to Sims Gallery. It's going to be a lot of fun. But of course, what is even more fun is a trip down to the SFDA. My goodness, there's so much to see, so much to experience. Do you have a favorite thing that you look forward to doing or even trying at the SFDA? I know it's hard to pick a favorite, but I'm going to put you on the spot here, Christopher.
Yeah, it's quite hard to answer that one because we've got such. If you're a foodie, you love a bit of everything. We've got a thing at a feature at the event called the Tap Room, and you come along and it literally is just craft beers and kombucha. So you could just go and try these amazing craft beers. It's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, if you're into, and doesn't mean it's huge high alcohol. Some of them are alcohol free. They're just brilliant craft beers. So I do quite like that. And then we've got a very, very big competition by Big Ideas Ventures, which is one of the biggest investors in alternative proteins in the world. And they've got an enormous global prize. So it's a global competition, and then an on-site prize of $200,000 US. It's enormous.
What is this competition about?
But it's purely alternative protein. So it's a new, plant-based alternative proteins, just a slightly different lifestyle and a lifestyle choice, a food choice that people are making.
So I guess that is something that we will see featuring very heavily in the SFDA, because I guess that is the upward trend. More people are looking for alternative and you know what? Remember that in Singapore, they just approved the Singapore Food Agency of bugs. Absolutely. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think everyone's got a different opinion on it. I think that the reality is, in the future, we're going to need different sources of protein. I think there is no way around that. I think every person knows that, and we're going to have to find different ways of producing that, and things like cell-based, which obviously Singapore is now one of is the leader in after approval, and I think and bugs as well. I mean, that's not very new to parts of Asia, is it?
It's not. So, have you had any bug-based food snacks?
I have. I remember going to Lombok in the Gili Isles 20 years ago.
Wow, 20 years ago. Exactly. How forward-thinking are you, hey?
I know. I was doing research.
There you go. Hey, I love your job, because you can be like stuffing your face with food and drink, and you're like, it's all in the name of research, honey.
Absolutely, it's the job.
So let me ask you this. Is there a particular current, or not even a current one, but just a food trend that you dislike?
Wow. So the answer is no, not really. I think one thing I think will be very interesting. There's a obvious huge rise in AI and robotics. I think let's see what happens with that around staffing levels.
Yes.
Because I think everyone has this immediate reaction of it's going to change everything. But
sure.
People want people to serve them. They love that. You go to a restaurant with your family or with your friends, and you want service. You want service with a smile. And Singapore does deliver that. I know there are huge staffing conversations and employment conversations happening all around the world, but I know there are those happening in Singapore. But I think that robotic side will be about seeing it, delivering it, having photos, it being something funky, but people still want people. That's the truth.
That's true. So hopefully AI, like what you're saying here, is something that can complement, but it will never ever take away that human touch, that human involvement in the F&B industry. And that's a huge thing in F&B, right?
Well, absolutely.
Yeah, that human touch.
The word is food service, and it's not food robot. And I think, and honestly, I genuinely don't think that will change. I think things will be made, that it will complement. This is my hope. It's my hope that it would complement it, not take away. Because the beautiful service you have in Singapore, I hope will never change.
Everywhere around the world. I mean, the F&B business, that human touch from the chefs, from the servers, is something so special.
Absolutely.
It really leaves an impression. I think a lot of people would talk about their favorite restaurant because of the service that they got.
Absolutely.
Will we see any food robots at the SFDA?
You will. They're delivering. They're bringing in some. We've got some people bringing in convenience stores run by a robot. I mean, it's an upgraded vending machine,
like a literal.
Yeah, you can pick your product and the robot comes.
And we can experience it. At the SFDA.
Yeah, so that's starting. But I think a lot of the other things you can, the takeaway and delivery side during COVID obviously went bonkers everywhere in the world.
Right.
We launched an event alongside called Food to Go, and that's purely about, improving your food service outlet or your cafe and having, getting the Grabs or the Deliveroos or whoever, whatever company it might be, and they're coming along and speaking about how you can improve your revenue management and your delivery through their service. And I think that's seeing that point of sale, seeing recyclable packaging, seeing assistance in delivery, it just all helps the whole system in Singapore.
Ooh, that is really interesting. I mean, I do have friends in the F&B business. It's a tough business. It's a really, really tough business. So I think a lot of them might be able to discover something great that can enhance their business, because you say that actually the SFDA is more like trade to trade, right? But a lot of people who are not in the business love to come and just experience all that, these innovations in the food industry have to offer. I'm getting really excited.
Absolutely. Well, also we work with some, we've got the Singapore Food Manufacturers Association, the Singapore Manufacturers Federation, we've got the Singapore Coffee Association. All these associations are membership organizations that companies join to promote their industry and help bring them together. And we're just, honestly, I would love to say I do it all, but we've got these fantastic, wonderful associations that we work with that bring those people together, not to network, to learn. They network and learn and grow their knowledge and bring new product in, all through Speciality Food and Drink Asia.
I love that. It's kind of like you're setting up this platform and everyone's coming in with that great attitude to share, learn from each other, and just grow together. That's really heartwarming.
No, it's great. I'm not, it sounds like I'm putting a bit of a gospel on it. It's not. It's just, it's wonderful to see.
You're speaking like a proud daddy.
I'm not going to lie.
About children who did really well.
I remember I launched this company from absolutely nothing.
We're going to talk more about that in just a bit, and also about some common misconceptions or wrong impressions people might have of the F&B industry. You're going to talk about that here on 1FM 91.3. Join us on air. We've got Sophie B. Hawkins with Damn, I Wish I Was Your Lover. That's the only time I can say that D word. Yeah, so I take full opportunity of it. Joining me in the studio this morning, we've got Christopher McCuin. He is the Managing Director of Montgomery Asia, here to talk about the Singapore Food and SFDA, which stands for Singapore Food and Speciality Food and Drinks Asia.
That's it.
It is taking place in Singapore. That's why I got it a little bit confused. But the SFDA, very exciting. The dates once again,
26th to the 28th of September.
It's going to be
Marina
a busy weekend for you, huh? So you were talking about, on our Facebook Live, we were discussing about how the SFDA is really that great platform, and you speak like a proud daddy on really amazing kids, all these vendors, these businesses, these associations who are really there thanks to your platform of the SFDA. They come together, they learn from each other, they are so willing to share and just grow together. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a lovely way of doing things, actually. I'd love to say I do absolutely all of it, but it's just everyone comes together as a community. I feel like I've got a wonderful job of being a conduit to food and drink industry growth in Singapore.
Right.
It's something, even if I can just make a tiny mark on this wonderful industry, I don't know, that would just feel so wonderful because it's such a great industry in Singapore. Yeah.
But I can see how, you started this, journey and this career in the food business way back in your university days. I can see why you stay on in it. You are passionate about it. You meet fellow passionate individuals as well. Now, here's a question, okay? A lot of people have wrong impressions, misconception about the F&B business. What are some common ones that you hear of? Would you like to clear them up right now?
Sure. I think there's a lot of misconceptions around food waste. I think there's a lot of misconceptions around packaging. I think people just presume every part of packaging just goes in the bin and it's going into some pile somewhere. Okay, are they completely wrong on 100%? Of course they're not. But the world is changing and you can't wake up one day and just go, it has changed. But when you come to Speciality Food and Drink Asia or to Food to Go, the co-located event, you can see some of this sustainable packaging. And even, I think everyone just has this presumption that it's the enormous companies that can afford it that are doing it. That's not true. The mum and pup companies, the smaller independent retailers, the smaller independent cafes, they're very conscious of this. They don't just want to deliver great product. They don't want to put the offcuts and the leftovers into the earth. That everyone's trying to do their part, and you can really see that. And that is a bit of a misconception. Yes, it hasn't fully changed, but I think
but it's on its way.
It's on its way. And food waste. I mean, it's quite incredible. When I left the UK 5 years ago, we were throwing away 51% of our food. 51% of everything that's produced. 51. Right? And that is a problem across the world that people don't realise.
Yes.
And I think when you go shopping and you come to these events like Speciality Food and Drink Asia on the 26th to 28th September, I think you get what you need for yourself and for your family. Don't overbuy, don't waste, and the wastage you should be using. And we have now people that are using things like, we've got this fantastic company that is now using the old coffee grinds from coffee outlets and making soft drinks.
Sorry?
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad. And they don't necessarily taste like coffee either. It's amazing.
Do these coffee grind made drinks have caffeine in them? I'm very intrigued. What is the name of this company?
No. It's just that. Yeah, it's just wonderful, and it's these companies that are trying to make beautiful new product from wastage, theoretically. So it's quite astounding. And I think that is a misconception that the food and drink industry is about production, eating, wastage. Now it is about production, eating or drinking, and reuse, recycling, and that is changing, and it's wonderful to see, because previously that certainly was not the case.
I love how you say that it will take time, but we are on our way. A lot of people from big companies, from smaller establishments, they are all on board. Everyone is taking ownership of these issues. That's really heartening to hear. And we'll get to see some of that in play at the Speciality Food and Drinks Asia for this year. Last question before I let you go.
Sure.
Can you tell us what, for you, 3 things everyone should know about the SFDA? Go.
Okay, so come along if you want the best new innovations in the food and drink industry. If you're a retailer, importer, distributor, food service outlet, independent cafe, you can come to Speciality Food and Drink Asia, you can come to Speciality Coffee and Tea Asia, and you can come to Food to Go. Get the best of the best for your retail or food service outlet. It really is wonderful. New product, new flavors. Come see it. Come and try it. Come and meet wonderful people and fill your store with the very, very best on the 26th to the 28th of September at Marina Bay Sands.
Thank you so much for joining us here in the studio. Christopher, the Managing Director of Montgomery Asia. He's here to talk about the SFDA. I wish this conversation did not have to end.
Thank you for having me.
Good times. Greatest hits. 1FM.